Hello everyone, welcome back to Easy Peasy Photoshop. For today, we're not gonna have any new lesson, but let's start do some actual work with the tools that we already learned and see how we can do things with them. For the start, let's teach you guys how to retouch the image in a professional way. So the task is that from this image, we reach to this image in the right side. Okay, so that's how the professional photo editor, they retouch the image. As you can see, she has a flawless skin, but it's not that unrealistic. Like if you're using just a simple filter in the phone, you can see that it's completely go or wash out, she become too flat. So this is our objective, to make her flawless, but keep everything realistic. Okay, so because we're just gonna work here on this, I'm gonna crop the image. Okay, now let's start. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go to my stamp, my clone stamp, then just choose a soft brush and put my opacity and the flow at the 100%. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove any big marks like the mole here. So I always click nearby as my clone source. Then I will click on that part. Okay, it's so important where do you get your clone source. Actually, the other lesson that we were talking about, the clone sources, I already told you guys that it's important. If you, for example, take your clone source from here and you click here, basically you are making the image more complicated because you're adding more marks on the image. So it's very important that where you're gonna take your clone source. As you can see, each time that I want to click, I will choose a new clone source, so the color and the lighting will be close to the spot that I want to remove it. You can also use the other tools that we already talked, like the healing brush tool or the spot healing brush tool. It's up to you guys. I used to do the work with the stamp because the moment that I started learning the Photoshop, and those times that I was doing that, basically we didn't have the other tools. We didn't have the healing brush tool. So that was the only thing that we had that time, stamp. And just keep using the stamp, but you can use any other of the things that here in this area, the spot healing brush tool, healing brush, or the patch tool, whatever you want. It's up to you guys. So as you can see, I'm trying to take the parts that are a bit kind of obvious. We don't go to the there are some parts that they are like a very, very soft shadow or the soft spot on the image. We're not gonna do that for now. We're not gonna remove them, which will be in our second step. So for the first step, I just mostly focus on the pimples or moles or some area like that one that you can see there's a scratch markets. All right. Oops. Okay. And if you can see, we have a big spot here. It's look like a shadow. I want to make it soft. I don't want to completely remove it because it give depth to my image. It give dimension to this face. So what I'm gonna do, I just use the same brush, but I put the opacity on the 30%, and I have it click here. Now with the 30% opacity, I try to go to the softer area that there are soft shadows, soft scratches. Okay, like this. All right. Now maybe I also try to remove some of these hairs. I use my spot healing brush. I just go on them. These are stray hairs. Now I'm using the stamp again. Okay, let's see what else we can do for now. Yeah, I think we're good. We're good at this point. Okay, so what now I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use one of the filters here. I go to the Sharpen, Unsharp mask. Okay, then I don't want to really see what should be the amount that you're gonna using, because it really depends on the quality and the size of your image. For sure, if your image is smaller and has the lower quality, you need to use less of this amount. Anyway, you always have this preview on so you can see the changes. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sharpen the image, but not that much. If you compare my history before and after, it gets sharper, but not that much, because I want to just keep the things realistic. And now what I'm gonna do in my history, I will put my history brush mark here so I can go back to this part that I did this filter. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna select the skins area. Okay, I'm gonna unselect the eye. We don't want the eye and the eyebrow. Don't mind with your selection if you want. It's like I want to make it perfect, go in this line. Doesn't matter, because anyway we're gonna give a very high amount of feeder. For example, let's give 50. Actually, it's too much. I think the 30 will be enough. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do again, I go to my filter. I go to my blur, and this one Gaussian blur, fifth from the top, 1 2 3 4 5 feet. Click on that one. Let's make it like 40. Yeah, again this amount is dependent on the size of your image. If your image is smaller or has less quality, it has less pictures, you need to give less blur on it. So now that I give the blur, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fade my filter with Control Shift F, or left Control, left Shift and F. If you do that, this fade option will come, which you can actually fade the last filter that you give. So I can just play with it. For example, put it here on this one, 49. Okay. Now you can see she has a good skin, but the problem is she become a bit flat. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my history brush tool. I'm gonna use the soft round brush, and I have here, remember that I put my history mark when we already sharpened the image. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put bring back some of the area. I put that on the 30%, the opacity of my history brush. I'm gonna bring back some of this area that it has shadow. Okay, so basically I just click in these areas, this area in the air. Okay, this the nose hole, around the lips, maybe a bit of here and a bit of here. Okay, now if you compare before and after that we give the filter, you can see here is kind of flat, but here we have this depth. We have the feeling that it's not just a picture, it has dimension, it has angle. That's one of the difference of the doing the retouch manually, or you're just using some application. Like if you go to your cell phone and you have this like the automatic retouch, the problem of that one is that it makes the image flat, it makes it so obvious, because it doesn't bring back the dark area, the shadow area that you have. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna maintain it more. I go to my burn tool, yeah, maybe like 18%, and I put it on the shadows. I'm gonna burn some shadow area, like here, like there, here, that area, a bit to the eye, maybe, and maybe here also. Yes, perfect. And then after that, I'm gonna dodge. This time I will be on the highlight, and again less amount. When you're doing the photo editing or retouch, try to do everything soft. We don't need to have a very high effect, so we keep the things natural. and here I give some maybe highlights here, a bit of the highlight here and here and there, and finally I can just do so a little bit of adjustment so she won't be that kind of reddish. Okay, so that's it. We just retouch our image. Now let's see the before and after. It was the before and this is the after. So simple. Maybe the first image that you want to retouch is gonna take a long time. Maybe take like 30 minutes, but your hand will get fast. You can get too fast. If I want to do something fast right now, I can just do it in like maybe 3 minutes or less. But don't mind your time now. Just focus on the quality that you can do. Focus on the tools that you're using. The speed will come later. All right. So that's it. That's how you can retouch your image in a professional way. Let's do one more thing. This is actually good for you guys if you want to sell something online. You can see sometimes you go to like Facebook Marketplace or the Posters, other places. They just put an image like that and they try to sell it. Okay, well, which one do you like? That's just a simple picture like that there is a hand behind it. What's the background? There's a wall here, we have some tile here, there's the drawer or something there. So it's not actually really nice work. So let's just make this image a bit better, okay? I mean, much better with the very, very simple steps. Okay, so what first I'm gonna do, I'm gonna duplicate my layer here. So I have this, my original image, and I'm gonna just dismiss it. I'm gonna hide it. So now let's remove this background here. So simply I use my marquee tool and I select this. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm go to my path tool, pen tool, and I choose the path. Now I try to make a perfect path line around this image. So it's gonna be take time. We can use also the other thing like the lasso tool, but the best one is using the path, especially if you're dealing with the product. If it's a human, like you want to crop a body of the human or the clothes, something a live subject, it's better that use the lasso tool because the edges doesn't need to be that perfect. We never have a perfect curve or something on the human body with the skin, but when we talk about the object, it's very important that we get the curve in the right way. So I suggest you always using your pen tool to select the objects. Okay, now we are doing that. If you want to practice at the home, I suggest that you start with a object that it doesn't have too much curve, maybe just a bottle of shampoo or the perfume will be good. So you can have a practice of how to select them. Okay. I'm gonna save my path, so I always have it there. And select the path. I give a bit of feather. The image is not that high quality, so I just give the feather of 1. Let's see how does the image will be look like. Oops. Okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's okay. And now what I'm gonna do, I will add just a white background and create a new layer. I pick up the white color, I go to my paint bucket and then just click here. Okay. now I try to fix this bit of the curve here. I can just select it, then I go to my filter, liquify. Well, here you can push or pull the object a bit, like here I just select and move it down a bit, something like that. Work on the edges, make it a perfect curve. You can actually do that also with your just the pen tool. Okay, now let's get rid of this point here. I don't like this point here. Okay, you can also work a bit on the top area here. Let's again select it, go to the liquify. Oops, sorry. Here. Okay. Try to make the curve a bit better. All right, we got it. Now here I want to get rid of this black area here. So what I'm gonna do, I will hold the left control and I go here and I click on my layer. So basically I will select my entire layer. Then I go to my stamp. I put it on the 100%. And I'm gonna put here as my the source, the clone source. Then I try to go a bit like that. Okay, so get rid of that black kind of part there. Do it also a bit here. Okay, perfect. Now what next step is, I want to, you can see the hand is a bit visible here, the reflection of the hand color. So I will create a new layer. I go here, I hold the left alt, I make a clipping here. So basically I clip this layer into this layer. Now I'm gonna choose any color nearby, like this is the color that I have, the original color that I have. I go to my brush and I try to paint over these areas. Okay, now I go to my blending option. I change it simply to the color. That's it. Now you can see before and after. So basically I put the same color here. Now I don't have the reflection of the hand anymore. Anyway, this one is just a simple one. We're not going to try to make it so complicated to changing the backgrounds, because we are not, the course is not about being a professional photo editor. So now we just give a bit of the lighting maybe and some contrast, play with them. Okay, that's nice. Okay, now I can make it like here. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna duplicate this layer again. I duplicate my layer, then I make a Control T, transfer, and I will flip my image vertically. Okay, and after that I will put this one, the one that we already make it upside down, under my original layer, and I bring it down something like this. Okay, then I'm gonna change the opacity of my layer maybe to 35 or even less, 25, 20 even. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this area, give a feeder. Let's give 50. We can actually give more. Let's make it like a 75 feeder, and then I basically go here to my eraser and I just erase this part. Now as you can see, I create a reflection here under this bottle. It looks like a kind of reflection, but as you can see, this spray is like a floating, so it's good if you can add a bit of shadow there under it. So what I'm gonna do, I make a new layer under this bit between the reflection and the main object, like that one. And I'm gonna give some feather to that, maybe 20%. It's not enough. Let's make it more like 40%. Okay. Now I'm gonna give a black background, black color. Go to your paint bucket and just click here. All right. Now you can move it a bit up and start using your eraser. Put the opacity less, like maybe in the 31%, 30%. Then click here on the edges. Try to make it like similar shape. And we can also change the opacity a bit, make it a bit lighter. Now I want to get rid of this line, because as you see, when I add the shadow, it's not much with this bright line. So I will do the same trick that we did for the top. I just select this layer, then I go to my stamp tool, then I'm gonna just have some clicks here. Yeah, perfect. And you can also get rid of this orange cast here. We can make again another layer, clip it, put it on the color mode, then click somewhere here like this color, then just paint over them, just like that. We can even paint some area here so we don't have this reddish tone here, and we merge them together. So that's it. Now just imagine if you want to sell an object over the internet, which one does it looks more professional for you? Selling something like this or like this? If you are a customer, which one do you want to buy? Something that the image is just like that, or like this one, so it looks like it's a professional company with a professional picture. Anyway, the image was not that great, and I didn't want to spend much time on it, because I don't want to make the video so long for you guys. But let me show you some samples. So here you can see some samples of the images that we have. For example, let's take a look at these shoes. So basically I use the same technique here, okay, but you can see because the image has the better quality, so for sure the result will be better. I also try to add a bit of different color here, so it look like that we have this glass under the shoes and we have this white background behind it. I play more with the shadows. It's not just a simple shadow. You can see there's a direction, and that depends on the direction of the lighting that you have on your object. Or for example, here is another one. It's a top view image, so I just put this nice background around it. You can find lots of this background over the internet. The best one is that you go to the Shutterstock. You can just buy a membership there, and you can find lots of prepared background for your product. Anyway, it's not a photo editing training. I just wanted to show you that all these lessons that you have, what things that you can do with them. So it's just was two simple things. You can do lots of things. You can start learning about the web design. You can start doing digital arts, characters, or any other thing that you want, because right now you know the basic. So yeah, this is for now. See you guys in the next video.